what I'll do is basically put it in like this. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. These are the two trees I got at the Mammoth Auction in Oakland last week. The auction had about not quite 100 trees this year. That's a little less than the usual. And there are quite a few nice trees that are finished. And I, again, choose the ones I think I can improve on rather than the really super nice finished trees that people pay a lot of money for. So what I do today is I work on this Prostrata Juniper to show you how little change could make a lot of improvements, I hope. And then this one is actually a really, really nice California Juniper. And if you look at the flow, it's almost incredible. This tree is going down like this and going up. I was told it was started by Kathy Shaner. She is a very notable bonsai artist that's been around for a very long time. In fact, I believe I overlapped with her at the California Juniper many, many years ago. So I'll work on this tree next week because there's a lot of preparation to be made. It's anchored down very well. And I'm going to be totally repositioning it. So for example, on this tree, I'll give you a little preview. You can see this is a really nice flow going down and coming up. But I think it's could be a little bit higher, taller, to accentuate the flow. So likelihood is that I see it the following way, is to tilt it up to make it more like this, and then pull this out. Right now it's tied together by wire, I couldn't pull it out, so that there's more of a flow going sidewards and up. And so we shall see, but stay tuned till next week. I think this is gonna be a very nice tree that I can learn from. So let me take this away and work on the other one. So this is a Prostrata Juniper. You can see the powerful trunk, and then he actually put lime sulfur on it to make it accentuate the difference. And then it's a very nice tree. And I would say it's very much typical of what is in a bonsai book, where it's a very nice trunk. Some of them are really convoluted and really beautiful. But the problem is that then it's a hat. There's always a big full foliage up front. And when I study it, there's a branch that's coming down. That's really quite picturesque, but I don't see it at all. And so what I'll do is I'll try to take advantage of what is there to accentuate what's there to make it look beautiful. And then the other problem with this tree is that you can see the guy took pride in growing a very large tree in a very small pot. I think it's, you know, you can get to like it because you see every tree like that, many trees like that in a bonsai book. But I think it's really unnecessarily difficult to maintain a tree like that. So with that in mind then, I found a pot that's slightly bigger, and it's not round, it's oval, because the tree itself is not round, it's lengthwise longer. So I think this tree may fit a little bit better, we shall see, or even bigger pot. And what I'll do is I'll put it in this pot and tilt it this way, tilt it up, and tilt it up to accentuate this branch coming down. So what I'll do is basically put it in like this. Of course, I'll put it over here. But you can see now, ooh, I'll try to put something underneath of it. But you can see when I did that, see this trunk is coming down, accentuate. You can see this trunk comes up, and then this branch coming down, and that's the top. It's a taller tree, yes, but I want to accentuate this down branch. So this is what I do. And in fact, maybe easiest to just take it out of the pot and put some soil underneath it to position the tree and then work on it. Okay, that's what I'll do. See, the bottom is tied with bonsai wire all over very nicely, so the tree will be anchored in place. That's why I couldn't. I can do it, carry the tree at any angle. So let me just cut them. This is actually copper wire, fairly easy to cut. I can use really a better tool. This is all rusted, but I'm quite careless in terms of doing these things right. So the tree is basically out. And this is planted in solid Atacama. And so it's going to be extremely difficult to remove the soil. But I will, what I will do is I will, you see it's totally rock solid in there. Very difficult to get it out. You can see the akadama and the roots combined becomes a solid lump, impossible to repot. And that's sometimes they don't repot. Look at how root bound it is. But I'm not going to worry about that. I will take care of that over time. But right now, mainly focusing on the redesigning of the tree. So that's a tree, roughly the orientation I will have in a pot with this being the front. So you can see this nice root coming up, and then this nice branch coming down on the side. I would probably re-anchor in a different direction a little bit. So with that in mind then, I will get to work. So make this point, I will actually work on this branch first instead of the apex, which is what I should normally do. And again, since it's so overgrown, if I wire it to form the path, it would take a tremendous amount of work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the poodling. Again, imagine what the path wants to be. If I imagine a branch coming over and I want the path to be like this, then what I do is just cut above the imaginary line and let the branches grow into it and then cut it again and again until that's totally full, and that's my path. And I don't have to cut off too much, to worry about too much what's underneath of it, so long as they fill out, and then I can pinch them off. And I think that makes the tree grow a little faster. Rather than focusing on working on the apex first, I will work on the branch first, because I think that is going to be the differentiating factor about this tree. And in fact, if you look at it, this branch comes all the way down, which is really nice. But I actually think the tree will look really nice if the rest was dead, and the branches end here. But we shall see. I don't have to do it, make that decision now. I can always do it later. So with that in mind, then let me start with the top here first. I just do a poodling, which is like fairly carelessly cut off the needles to a imaginary outline of that particular pad. I can see still some residual wiring that got forgotten taken off. If I had to worry about individual branch, it would take me forever. In my good old days, I would actually cut this way back to kind of bare bone, and I think that's too drastic. The tree can survive, can take that, but the point is it's going to take far too much time to grow back. That's why I'm doing the shortcut by poodling it to the rough shape, and then worry about doing it the right way, the bonsai way, so to speak. So I'm really basically creating each individual paths. Oh, it will never get there, so I just clip this off and make that into a jin. I think some of the old folks will cringe that I'm so quickly pruning these trees, but that's a shortcut, you know? Eventually I'll get it to the kind of the desirable design. So now if you look at this tree, the trunk is coming up like this, and this branch is coming out. I don't really want this branch to be going backwards. So I'll actually make this branch a dead branch. In fact, let me do that. I think you'll see how these drastic decisions can make a big difference fairly quickly. So you can see, now you can begin to see the paths that potentially can be here to make the tree look nice. Now take a look at this branch. You see how beautiful it is? And in fact, I can probably argue to get rid of this one as well. Look at that. This is a nice big branch. If I get rid of it, that opens up this hole to accentuate this flow. So in fact, I'll do that. I hope some old timers would not cringe. So you can see the branches coming out, the paths are coming out this way. But I let this little one go. Someday I can take it off, but I think this gives it a little bit more balance. Now I need to work on the apex. Like this one, I don't need it. So to make the path more visible, so actually there are two apex. This is the apex. This is also an apex, which is not correct. So what I'm going to do is I can choose either one. Let me make a drastic decision. I think it would be nice to make this the apex and make this the dead apex to accentuate the age of the tree. And so that's what I'll do. Again, I would not do a careful job, but starting to create paths to work on later. So apex is very important. I want to pick an angle that rhymes with the nature of this, where the bottom curving up. I need to work on the apex first. And if the tree is coming up this way, and then this branch is coming down this way, I want the top to kind of point this way. Kind of, in some sense, go back a little bit. I have to cut off a lot in order to show the line and the trunk, and then build it back up again. So I don't think I'll be able to cut off too much because it will grow back quickly. But I need to create the paths to work on in the future. So I'm just gonna go down and thin them out. And really, a lot of it can be thinned out and creating some space between them, cut off some that are too close, the branching, so that eventually you'll see how the tree developed. And I'm cutting the pads with the idea not to wire them, but to use the clip and grow. So I had to be a little careful than just say like doing the normal the poodling where I don't really care about the angle of things, just where the pads are. And as you thin it out, it will become very clear what would stay and what wouldn't. So again, I'm just thinning it out and separate out the branch where the pads begins. This one I got at the Mammoth Auction this weekend, and it was so overgrown, I couldn't see what's going on. And in fact, even as I'm clipping, I don't see what's going on. So, but you can see by tilting it, putting a slightly bigger pot, I think this tree is going to be really quite phenomenal. Whoever did it had a really good start because the branch was sparse, so he could see what is going on. But by the time when I got it, I could not even make it head versus tail because everything's so overgrown. But I choose a slightly bigger pot and tilted it from this angle, which isn't dramatic. It's nice, but it's not dramatic. So I tilted this way, and but I'm not going to do extensive repotting in a sense of combing this out. This is actually grown in akadama, and so it's a solid rock because it's not very giving. So when the root goes out, root fills out the void, and it's really, really difficult to get rid of it. So what I would do is take my time, which could take a couple hours actually. I will carve out a layer all around in the bottom, and then use a hose to hose out as much as I can, but not too much at a time because I don't want to kill the tree because it's so root bound by now. I think if an inexperienced person got it, it's likely to kill this tree. So I'm going to do it very carefully because I really love this tree. I think it's really, somebody really did a good job to start. And I'm sure I had a lot of help from the bonsai teachers to get it to the movement of the shape. But then it was, too overgrown, too well taken care of in some sense. But I demolished it and started over again, basically. So we shall see. This is the 1 week update to show I spent the time. Here's still a wire from the previous owner that I did not find and remove, so I should do that later. But you can see the wire still killing the tree, and there's a branch in here some ways. So what I did is I reoriented the tree, and I need to thin out this a lot more to show the branching. But you can begin to see the structure. Like if I pull this branch down further over time, this tree will really be magnificent. These are the pads. I did not cut off drastically, but I rather use the poodling approach to fill out the pads quickly. And the next thing I'll do is I actually spread my moss powder on this. I think in about 4 or 5 weeks, it will be like this. You can see how beautiful the moss comes out with the rain and the moisture. So anyway, this is the tree I really am pleased that I got from the auction. In fact, you can see at a distance, it's really a beautiful tree going to be after I get the pads established. I'll actually thin off some of that so that to expose the nice branching and create more jin to accentuate the old age. So anyway, I encourage you to go to auction. You may find treasures that other people missed that you can pick it up for a reasonable price, and you got some really old material to work with. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this is informative. This is really a tree I like. It's going to be one of my favorite trees. So thank you very much for watching, and please click like if you found my videos informative. I need and I can use the encouragement. And please subscribe to our channel and send us your contact information, because when we have trees ultimately in production, I think we're going to sell it out fairly quickly because we have very limited production the first year. With that in mind, thank you very much and see you next week.